Hi everyone. I'm sure many of you know the parable of the workers in the vineyard from Matthew 20. It's about a vineyard owner who went out to hire workers for 1 denarius a day. He hired some at the beginning of the day, he hired others at various times during the day, even including right up to the very end. And at the end of the day, they were all paid 1 denarius each. But the first workers were very unhappy about this because they had done much more work. But the owner replied, "Why are you grumbling? Because I'm being generous?" Now we hear a lot about people's rights nowadays, don't we? People are very vocal about their rights and fight hard for them. And we are aware of unfairness in people's lives, whether we do anything about it or not. So do you think the owner of the vineyard is being unfair in this parable? He does seem to go against all the expectations of fairness and decency, which expects people to be paid the same hourly rate for the same job. Women have fought for years to be paid the same as men for the same job, but we're not quite 100% there yet. Probably this parable was as troubling to Jesus' original audience as it is to us. And the owner doesn't seem to be very generous with his hourly rate, a denarius for a day's work. As a minimum, an adult needed half a denarius per day to survive, so it would have been a bit of a stretch to provide for the family, especially as labourers were not guaranteed work every day, and it would have been seasonal, maybe not too dissimilar to a 0 hours contract nowadays. And what about paying the same to all the labourers at the end of the day, however long or hard they had worked? It doesn't seem fair, does it? However, there is generosity in the fact that each person earns enough to live on. If those hired at the end of the day had been paid an hourly wage, they would not have earned enough to survive. So what is going on here? Is there more to this? The clue might be in the first line of the parable. For the kingdom of heaven is like the owner in the vineyard. It may be that the rules of the kingdom can appear a bit odd and incomprehensible to us. We may disagree with who is welcome in the kingdom. We may think that some people leave it a bit late to be accepted. But Jesus welcomes everyone who will come, right up to the last hour, the last minute. A couple of days before he died, my father-in-law asked me to pray for him. He was in hospital, and I was wondering if he wanted me to pray for healing. So I sent up a quick prayer to the Lord, and I had the impression that he wanted me to pray for my father-in-law to know Jesus, which he didn't at the time. So I did, and he did. My father-in-law said, "He's here with me." He was overjoyed, and he told everyone who came near him, near his bed in the hospital, and he was singing hymns all the time. And a couple of days later, he said to his wife, "He's waiting for me, he's calling for me. Do you mind if I go?" One of the thieves on the cross also called out to Jesus at the end of his life, and Jesus welcomed him and said he would be with him that day in paradise. We don't know who is in the kingdom or who should be in the kingdom. That is up to God alone. God is just and fair and generous, and whatever we think about it all, we know we can always trust him. So bye for now, Have a good week, and I hope to see you next week as well. Bye.